so we can have a replay for anyone who isn't able to tune in. So thank you guys for tuning in once again. We know we've said this a lot, but we're very excited. We now have a free mobile app. Google Play, Apple Store. Thank you for those who are tuning in on that live broadcast. Facebook. We're on Twitter right now as well as YouTube. So we have broadcasts all across the board. We're going to be checking the chats periodically throughout this real quick, but we're going to give you a quick rundown of what exactly it is that we're going to be expecting for tomorrow across North Texas. And that is because there is a severe weather risk. It's not anything significant or super out of the ordinary or anything like that, just to lower any fears. In fact, this is not going to be one of those setups like what you see in spring when we have so much instability that we'll get all these little pop-up supercells that become a hazard or anything like that. We're not talking about that kind of setup. We're talking a squall line of storms that should form in western North Texas early tonight into tomorrow morning, and then make its way closer to the Metroplex by late morning into midday tomorrow. So we're going to be starting off with our Futurecast radar, and we're going to go ahead and put this into motion, loading something up behind the scenes. Right now, this is 3 o'clock tonight. So right now, it's looking like there could be some elevated shower activity across the area, light to potentially moderate heavy rain in some areas, but nothing too significant. This is not the majority of the rainfall. This is going to be mainly light activity. But as I put this into motion, take a look to the west. By 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, at least with this model, check out near Onley and Graham. We're starting to get some of those red colors on the reflectivity product. Those will continue to build into an area of showers and storms. So if you're headed out early tomorrow morning, mainly along and west of I-35, make sure you bring an umbrella or a rain jacket for tomorrow morning, just because we are going to have these elevated showers across the area, and then we're going to have this development building up. And take a look at this. It continues to build in, and then we get a line of storms. This is off of this model, so don't expect this to be exactly what it is. Once again, a model is a good depiction of what we could see. But take a look. We have a line of storms potentially building up further to the west of the area tomorrow morning, with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms across the Metroplex during the morning commute. So if you're headed out tomorrow morning, make sure before class, before you head out for work, you will want that umbrella and rain jacket, just because we are going to have the potential for some isolated storms here in the metro in the morning. This is not the main activity, but this is going to be the main activity right here. The rain chances we've had on our 10-day were around 80 to 90%. We're going to go ahead and say pretty much close to 100% of the area could see some type of rainfall tomorrow. That doesn't mean everyone's going to see severe weather, but I'll show you why we're thinking 100% rainfall. Take a look at this line. Continues to build further to the west and pushes into the metro area by late morning. We're talking around 10 or 11 based off of a handful of models. And then it continues to push off to the east into the afternoon, into our eastern counties. We could even have a few isolated showers and thunderstorms develop behind this. Develop behind this line, but these would not be severe. This is going to be mainly behind the cold front, so this will be just rainfall activity. But that line of storms will push further to the east, and anything that forms out here further west of the area should weaken if it is producing any sort of gusty winds or anything like that as it moves east during the afternoon and evening, to just be rain and shower activity. This is 10 o'clock tomorrow. So there could be rain in the area based off of a couple of the models. Most likely during the morning commute, but also during the evening commute, we could see some showers and storms across portions of North Texas. Now, there is a severe weather risk tomorrow. That's what everyone's tuning in to see what's going on. And I'm going to show you with the Storm Prediction Center outlook real quick. Let's clear all layers. Here we go. So they updated this from earlier. We posted something on social media where the slight risk was further to the south and east. It did not include Dallas and Fort Worth, but now it does. So technically it splits Fort Worth, but basically 50-50, the region that we cover is either in a marginal, which is the area in green, or it's in the yellow slight risk. So remember, we've said these in broadcasts in the past. This isn't necessarily based off of storm intensity. This is just based off of where the Storm Prediction Center thinks the highest coverage is more likely. So there is a potential for a line of storms, and we're talking mostly a damaging wind threat. I'm going to show you here. This is the wind probability from the Storm Prediction Center, and that is why we have this slight risk, just because when we get this skinny line of storms, it's not out of the ordinary that you get maybe some 60, maybe 65 mile per hour winds associated with a line of storms. But we'll show you here too. There is also potential for anywhere between nickel and quarter-sized hail, especially if we get any sort of isolated activity that is able to develop ahead of the line. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And then there is a very low risk for tornadoes tomorrow. We know a lot of people get nervous when they hear the word tornado, but we're going to reassure you once again, like we said at the beginning of this broadcast, and if you didn't tune in, then we're going to repeat it. This is not the type of severe weather event that you see in spring when you get these nasty single or cellular or these discrete, that's the word I'm looking for. This is not one of those situations where you get discrete supercells that can produce really large hail and tornadoes. No, this is one of those things where if there was going to be a tornado, it would be probably embedded with the line and a quick spin up. So it's something to be watching, but that doesn't include all of the area. The greatest risk looks to be basically along and south of I-20 and along I-30 once you get into the further portions of the northeastern areas that we cover and eastern areas that we cover. So tornado threat tomorrow is low. It's not zero. But it's just something to be aware of. But this isn't, like we said, this isn't any sort of historic type setups or anything like that. This is merely a threat for severe weather, just because there's going to be a line of storms. There are conditions favorable for maybe a couple strong to severe storms, but not everyone's going to see strong to severe storms. Not everyone's going to see a tornado, just to ease everyone's fears. This is just one of those things that we're going to be watching, just because there is a couple of ingredients favorable for that activity. So I'm going to switch over real quick to, we're going to switch over to this, excuse me. And this is a look at the timing for tomorrow. So we've highlighted for here in the western portions of North Texas, basically all the way down from Graham to portions of our western coverage area near Decatur and Mineral Wells. We're talking anywhere between, well, let's say 5 to 11 a.m. tomorrow. We know that that is a broad timeline that we're looking at here, but this is just letting you know between that window, depending on how fast these storms develop and move into the region, anywhere between about 5 to 11 a.m. These aren't going to be moving really fast either, so we're talking heavy rain. I'll show that in just a second. But anywhere between at least 9, 10 a.m. tomorrow into 5 o'clock tomorrow, that is the window for the Metroplex. And then further to the east, that's anywhere between, let's say, 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. So that's a look at the timing that we got there. So moving on, we're going to show you our projected rainfall totals. I'm going to move this over just so we can get that out of the way. Anywhere between, let's say, 1 to 3 inches of rainfall is possible across the Metroplex area, especially along I-35 and to the east, where you see those purple colors. That's when we're approaching that 2 to 3 inch mark with these projected rainfall totals from the system. And then basically areas to the west, it's going to be a little bit less, but it's not going to be by much. So this is beneficial rainfall, but unfortunately for our drought, this isn't going to pack that much of a punch with it. Hopefully we get some more rainfall forecasts here in the near future to help out with our drought, but we'll take it for now. So that's a look at the rainfall totals. Now we're going to be looking at our chats real quick that we've gone through this. I'm going to actually put back the time for tomorrow. Let's see, having trouble loading Facebook up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the recording, but we'll still be looking at the comments here for just a couple of minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in. So we're going to end this recording here real quick. Hope you have a great evening.